Okay, I think this one is.
Yeah. Ooh, let's get juicy. What is one quality you look for in every man, and what are red flags that you try to run away from? Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Labella or Izzy if you're new here, and if you're already acquainted,
You know the vibes.
All of them done they notice. I'm not joking. All my guys, them know me. Since '06, I've been writing this story.
So I hope you guys watched part 1. If you didn't do that, please just stop this video right now. Go watch part 1, then come back here. This is gonna be a Q&A. I put a question tag on my Instagram. If you guys haven't followed me yet, follow me on the ground. So yeah, so basically some questions for my friends and I. What's the hardest thing, if any, having friends with different backgrounds?
I guess just learning different communication styles and figuring out how to relate to each other and not stepping on each other's toes. Being able to build empathy and understand that we all have different upbringings and we should try to understand each other as what we can.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely like trying to, I think definitely understanding that all of us do things a little differently and that it's okay to kind of just flow, which I'm grateful that we've been able to learn how to do around each other for the most part. Is like just, you know, if somebody does one thing one way, it's okay. Like it's never the end of the world if you do things another way. But yeah, it's just getting used to, like you said, used to everybody's style.
Yeah. I think I agree with everything. I echo everything everyone said. Because I feel like even when you're brought up the same way, like even my siblings, I have differences among them, and we were brought up the same way. So it's like realizing that, yeah, imagine you guys are not even from the same house, and even from the same house, you even have disagreements. Talk less of people that you know you don't even come from the same house. So like, kind of not expecting that you won't agree on everything, but low key, like knowing that okay, when you will clash in some ways because you guys are not from the same background and because you don't come from the same house, and just like realizing that it's okay, conflict is fine. It's just about like learning how to work through those conflicts in a productive way. So
100%.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. Basically, being able to resolve conflict in a productive way, but also realizing that although we're all African, all come from similar places, but then again we still have different ways of doing things. And yeah, as Joy said, just being able to communicate effectively, and also thinking about how the other person is seeing, just looking at the other person's perspective when you're also addressing certain things is very important. So the next question, what do you guys want to pick the question? Like I can pass it around and some like I think.
I think that'd be nice. Yeah.
Okay. So.
Okay. What is y'all's favorite memory together?
There's so many, but I would definitely say spring break freshman year.
Bro, I was gonna say.
Oh my gosh!
I was gonna say
You
the
guys,
same
spring
thing.
break freshman year was
Yes.
It was another.
it was another world, like, and that was the time where I think we really became close.
Yes.
And so like that is just my favorite memory.
Let's explain a little bit of the things.
So
Let's talk about what happened.
every day there was something new. So like the first day of spring break, that was when they like, you know, had closed the dining hall, right? And so we were all like, dang, we're gonna starve. So we went to Chipotle, and then we came back, and then we ended up having the most nonsensical fights about Ghana versus Nigeria. It was jollof, there was music, politics.
I'll put a clip. A short version of the whole video.
You know, we had a very great Nollywood actresses here.
Oh, yeah.
The whole show.
Yeah, putting some background on that. So basically, so I was taking a film class around that time, Film 101, and they said, I think it was a final project that we had to come up with. And I didn't want to be basic, but we basically had to make a short film. And was it the day before or something?
Yeah,
like that? We were just sitting down, and all of a sudden these two just went off. They said,
I
let's
don't know
bring
how
our
it
Hollywood
works.
acting into play. Like, so they just started going off. And I was like, yo, this is Oscar win. I have to do this. So then I just ended up filming
2 coming out
Coming soon. The same.
We need to make a part 2. Just to give a little background, she's a ghost now because I slapped the life out of her. So.
I'll play the clip.
How dare you? You own
The what cracked me up was the fact that you put it on your Snap story and like people were eating.
Yeah.
Like, where's the next part?
Like,
Oh, that was too funny.
Yeah, they were commenting, hey guys, please.
Did I contribute? No. Was I just a spectator? Absolutely. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah, no, and also when we went to ponds.
Yeah, we went to
Yes.
ponds.
That was an experience.
That's
No, we
no
were-
memory of that, but
No, but we're acting as if like because we were on Jessica's floor. Like even in the kitchen, you know, Termin is the hall, the freshman hall.
Yeah.
And like we were in your freshman because no one was there, so we were like that hallway. We were just
Yes,
using it for
yes.
ourselves. Like
Remember, Nancy and I, we were playing table tennis.
Yeah.
Paper. Some paper ball.
it was just because it was just so nice because no one was there. We're just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was a good time.
So many memories.
Yeah.
I think how did I turn 19? My 19th birthday when we all went to Domino's and I
Oh.
yeah.
That was fun.
that was a crazy night, but it just showed me like I have real ones because I messed up the pizza order. We had to run to Domino's late at night in the freezing cold. It was February, by the way, and it was just like it just gave family for real.
Yeah.
You know, with the fact that like you thought you had ruined your own birthday, and I
Yeah.
said, we walked all the way to this side of campus. We won't party by force.
Exactly. I was like, girl, calm down. We're still gonna.
No, that was fun.
Yeah, that was Nancy.
Yo, I just spring break has a special place in my heart. I think so. I don't know, but there's so many. Like I think even just like when we have like random conversation, we all stay up and we just like talk and we just laugh. Even okay, maybe first it's not my favorite, but like just to list another one. I feel like when we one of the first days we moved into this apartment, like when we had a little game of categories and then we just we're just fooling around until like the AMs and we just like it was a nice little like housewarming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Introduction.
Yeah, introduction was nice.
Yes.
So it was a good time with us.
Yeah.
What is your ideal date and why?
Honestly, I don't have I've never really had a picture of exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I just know one thing I want for a first date. Wait, this is just first date or just ideal date?
Your ideal date.
Okay,
Let's assume it's first day.
okay, first dates. For me, I just would like it to be something that is active. Because knowing me, I am very awkward, especially when I meet somebody for the first time. Either I'm meeting them for the first time or somebody I like. I'm very shy, when it comes to the beginning. I think, doing something active, whether it's bowling, which I suck at, but but whether it's bowling or just golf, something that at least maybe I'm missing a ball and we can make banter out of that, something that we are doing.
Yeah.
And then probably something to eat. I don't want something too extra, but something cute, classy, all that type of stuff.
I agree with that. I feel like Isabella said, if you're just doing a dinner date, it's just it's awkward looking at each other. You're trying to eat, but you can't eat. It's just so much. Yeah, so much going on. So I feel like something active, something that gets us talking, maybe having a conversation. Even maybe an escape room. Although my experience with escape rooms hasn't been that good, but I know escape rooms you can maybe talk and let's do this, and then you laugh, and then you feel like I know him. Yeah, that's my something fun, and then it was something to eat, maybe dinner or something. Once you've broken the ice, you can
now eat.
I agree with you both. Initially, it's always been an amusement park date and a kiss on the Ferris wheel. Very childish, but now it has it has matured to. I just want a simple drive in the city, looking at the city lights, or if it's like winter, I don't know, just driving through those rich neighborhoods with Christmas lights, stuff like that, and having Chick-fil-A with us and just stopping, eating, and just viewing the city.
Wow.
Because for me, I get more attracted to someone if I have deep conversations with them. So I want a setting where I could have that, like uninterrupted, no distractions, just the two of us. Yeah.
So you must have a car.
Yes, wow, for sure.
I definitely agree with everything you guys said. Like, future husband, if you're watching, please.
Hey! Listen very well. Guys, we're all single.
Oh, very, very simple.
But only Christian.
Only
God
Serious
man.
not church goers, or you have a relationship, no drummers, no keyboardists. You have a relationship with God, please.
When you say drama in my show, please come. I'm taking.
Okay.
Anyway,
Come on,
no, food definitely has to be a part of it because for me, I'm like, if you can't feed me, you don't love me. I'm sorry. Like, that's one thing. Like, I'm definitely a foodie, so like something with food involved. But I would say, like you guys said, I'm very low key. I'm very simple. Like, I don't want anything like super extravagant or like something that feels superficial, where it's just like, oh, you're trying to impress me. Like, I'm very much into something active where we can have a conversation about it after, like go to a sports game or something, like a basketball game, or go to a movie. But then, like afterwards, like a walk in the city or like sitting down in a park somewhere and just like eating and like talking, chilling. And like something that's very low key to break the ice, where I get to know like who you are outside of just like how you presented yourself. Because I feel like dating a lot of time is like you're just kind of trying to like make a good first impression, you know. But it's like at the same time, I want that deeper connection of like, okay, who are you like outside of all these things?
Yeah. How has your view on Christianity changed over the years?
That's a heavy question.
It is heavy.
I guess like we should give a little context. So we're all in a Bible study called Collegiate Black Christians. So I'm the president, and then Nancy's secretary. We have Joy as our social media lead, and Izzy is one of the hospitality leads. And so we joined our freshman year being in Collegiate Black Christians, or CBC, and definitely been a huge part of all of our lives, I would say. I think in terms of how my view of Christianity has changed, I think college has pushed me to really seek God for myself more. And I would say, like, especially taking classes that have been geared towards religion and like hearing perspectives on the Christian faith, especially being a Black Christian, has really shaped like my perspective of, okay, do I know the word for myself? Have I studied context behind it? And even like having something like a Bible study, like one thing that we do is always like emphasize context and studying the word deeply, and also cultivating my own personal relationship with God. But I think also having Christian friends has been super helpful. Because I think we've always like been able to have very deep conversations about, you know, just life in general and like how our faith plays into us being even college students. And so yeah, I would say like my view has definitely been, you know, am I doing this just because I'm checking the church box, or is it because I'm truly like living for Christ and like valuing the role that God has in my life?
Yeah, I definitely like relate to that. And I think for me, one aspect that has changed in particular is like, I feel like growing up in, especially maybe the African church that I was brought up in, we kind of emphasize like prosperity gospel. Like it kind of just happens naturally that like God is going to bless you, like sow this seed, God will bless you. So I feel like to an extent, like I viewed Christianity as like, oh, this gateway to like prosperity in my life. Or if I am a Christian, surely I will succeed. Surely I will have money. Surely my life will be great in every single aspect. But I think that truly understand what the gospel of Jesus Christ is, and understanding that the point is that Jesus died for our sins and he deserves the glory for that, and that we were not worthy and he made us worthy, you know. I feel like understanding those concepts and knowing that, even like looking at the disciples and what they went through in the Bible, that okay, this Christian walk is not easy. It doesn't mean that if you're a Christian means that you will succeed by force, that success means you will have money, that success means, oh, you get A's all the time. That's not what success is. That ultimately our like view of success is glory, to make it to heaven. Like that's what success is to live a life following Christ, and ultimately like knowing that he will be like, my good servants. What is this again? Good work, good job.
Yeah, my good and
faithful
servant.
Yeah. To be told that at the end, I think that realizing that for me has been the biggest thing, because for the longest time Christianity has been like, yeah, if I'm a Christian, my life is perfect. Like it will be good, but that's not the reality.
I definitely relate to that. I feel like early childhood, I was just serving God because I had to. Like I mentioned in the other video, like my parents are pastors, and that's just how I was raised up. And then during my teen years in high school, it became very transactional that I was just praying, worshiping to get something out of it, like, oh, to make the volleyball team, to get a 4.0, or to get into a good college. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's what my relationship with him was based on solely. But definitely coming to college, that changed. It started to become like an actual relationship because I have no one else looking over me. It's God. I only have God. Like if you experience life without God's presence, you realize that you really do need God. Because things will not always go your way. Like there are times where you don't get the right grades or you get into the wrong relationship, stuff like that. And if you experience that all alone, it's not a good thing. And so that has definitely changed my perspective and made me just want to have a good relationship, to be in constant communication, even though it's hard, but strive to get that communication going. And also, like, I had an experience this summer where I was just worshiping and praying with a bunch of teenagers, and we were all in a sanctuary praying, and I realized that all I want to be is just in God's presence. There is nothing like God's presence. So if you start to see God for who He really is, like that will just change how you view Christianity.
Just to add on to that, I think before, as Joyce said, it was more of a thing of like, oh yeah, my parents, oh, you have to go to church every Sunday, you have to read the Bible, you have to. So growing up like that, it was more of like a ritual. I just had to do it. I just had to, I just felt like it was a must. But I think when I was about to leave high school, I just wanted to actually know God for myself, because I felt like even whilst reading the Bible and stuff, I wasn't reading it to understand or actually, have a connection with God. It was just like, oh, it's something I had to do, like a chore. So I think coming to college and being surrounded with other people who are also very passionate about God, and having a relationship with God, and also them also feeding into me and motivating me to also have that relationship with God. It just changed my perspective in a way where I wasn't going to take things surface level, where it's just like, okay, somebody has told me, oh, maybe they come and tell me, oh, you shouldn't do this as a Christian. No, I'm gonna go to the Bible and I'm gonna check. Even going to church, not just taking the words for surface value, but also going back and saying, okay, let me read the whole context. Let me read what they're talking about, and not just take what people say for, okay, yeah, that's the truth, but also going myself to also find out what's the meaning behind this and get my own understanding. I mean, obviously through the Holy Spirit, and with God's help. But yeah, that's how my perspective has changed, about Christianity.
One thing I wanted to add on, like something that really resonated with me, with what you said, Joy, was like just how you realize how much you need God. Because one thing about college, y'all, college is hard. Like if you saw the last video, like you heard, I said I'm an engineering and a pre-med major, right? And why I chose that, you can ask me another time. But it's like, things were going so well freshman year, and I was like, okay, I got this. Sophomore year, I've never had to fight for my faith like that. And it wasn't even just with grades. It was like all kinds of things went crazy in life. And I had to be able to sit down and say, like, you know what, even when everything around me is like going wild, my faith is not shaken, and allow God to pull me through that process of being able to be like, you know what? Is life ever that serious? No, because God is, still on the throne. He's still covering me, and like I walk with the Holy Spirit and walking with that courage, because I think there were so many things you learn in Sunday school about, oh, God hasn't given you a spirit of fear, but of courage and of a sound mind. You don't realize what that is until you have so much fear and anxiety about things where you're like, no, God, I actually need to know that I can be confident even though I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Or like, just being able to know that the presence of God brings peace when everything is crazy around you, and being able to just walk with a smile on your face one day. And people are like, life is hard. And you're like, yeah, but God is good. And it's like, I'm not just saying it, but it's like, no, I know God's got me. Like, even though I don't really see how everything's working out. So I think as a college student, like, you really have everything up in the air. Your future's up in the air. Your grades are up in the air. Like, you building new relationships. You're away from your parents. It's like, all you really have is God. And I think college showed me that, like, God brought me to a place where it was like, now I had to see him for who he is and like actually begin to trust him with my whole life because it's like there's nothing else I can rest myself on.
And I have to just say that like everything is a work in progress. I think all of us are at different stages and like we're saying this and you think, oh, these people are disciples of Jesus. By God we are. But like I think like realizing that we're working through our own belief and faith and like where do we stand? Like it's always our journeys. We're always working through them, and God is God. God is good.
We definitely still have our flaws.
We do. Big,
but God asks us to be perfect.
Yeah.
So
this is very random because I won't even lie to you. But if you could be any animal, what animal would you be?
I'm smiling because mine is fish.
I don't understand this.
Let me explain this. If you're like me, the great movie Shark Tale. Is it Shark's Tale? Is it Shark Tale? Shark Tale. Shark Tale. It's a beautiful movie of the 2000s, early 2000s, DreamWorks. You get to see the life of the fishes, and you get to see that there's so much under the sea. Like you think, oh, the sea's still and calm, but there's so much life underneath. I want to see what it's like. I know I'll probably get eaten by a shark because the sharks are way bigger, but I feel like it would be a life of striving. You would want to like you see Shark's Tale, like whatever that guy's name is, the main character, like look at his life. He's a strong fish because he has to escape sharks all the time.
I know how to swim, but like, no.
As a fish, I wouldn't know how to swim. Innately. Sorry, but if it was my innate, it would be innate to my nature.
I want to be a giraffe. Because
But
I like being short, so it's okay. Anyway, the reason I said a giraffe is because if you've seen those nature documentaries where the lions are chasing the giraffe, they can never catch the giraffes.
They chase them?
Yes, like the pack. Like they'll be surrounding them in like the open safari field or whatever you call it. And like they'll be coming for the giraffe, but then the giraffe is tall enough and has long enough legs to like kick them and just be throwing the lion left and right.
I really haven't given this much thought, but a penguin.
Happy Feet? Have you guys ever seen Happy Feet?
Yes, I love that movie.
I feel like I would be so happy as a penguin. Just being able to waddle everywhere. Like they're just so peaceful, so happy. Like that's really just it. I want happiness, and I feel like I would just thrive as a penguin.
I like that.
I don't really have like
deep
reasons as to why, but I love penguins, so
yeah, I love penguins.
I feel like you guys probably guess what I'm about to say, but next thing, I would pick a dog. No, but listen, like I feel like as they say, dogs are the man's best friend. If there's no,
you want to be friends
with a human.
No, the man. Listen. Anyways, I don't know. I just like to live through dogs. I feel like having that connection with the humans, and they're just so cute. I don't know. Me too. I don't have an in-depth reason. I just let dogs.
If you remove money and stability from the equation, what would you like to do in the future?
Write books.
I'd like to be an actress.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, like you can obviously make money from that, but I feel like you have to struggle a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you might not make it. Yeah,
exactly. But like Hollywood is also scary, so
yeah.
Maybe Nollywood. That's on my bucket list.
No, Nollywood, you would eat.
Yes, starring in a Nollywood film. Yeah.
I feel like yes, I genuinely want to be a doctor, but if that wasn't the career path I had, I would want to be a baker. I just love baking. Like that's like my happy place, and like just making people smile with like anything I can bake or cook. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, something food related.
What I would do wouldn't change, honestly. Being a counselor for like children or just young people, because I just like to be able to provide help and be that support system that they don't have. So I think I'll probably do the same thing. Just like to help people, make them feel better. So if you could describe the other three in a few words, what would you say?
Say fun, reliable, family. Yeah.
Funny. All of y'all. Y'all crafty. And I just think ambitious. Like the career paths we're following, they're not necessarily the easiest to follow. And I feel like the bravery and the confidence to do that, like that just says a lot about our characters. So,
Yeah. I would say loyal. Um, like Jessica said, reliable and spontaneous.
Honest, funny again, and I would say comfortable. I don't know. That's a good one.
Yeah.
ooh, let's get juicy here. It's not really juicy, but let's make this a two-part question. What is one quality you look for in every man, and what are red flags that you try to run away from?
Again, future husband, if you're watching, listen well.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen.
Take notes.
I think honesty is a big one for me. Like, honesty, not just in a sense of, oh, I'm not going to just lie to you, but you should be a sincere and genuine person. Because I think, and of course, there's a lot of, stories that you hear online, but even just from like conversations I've had with people in my life, I think one of the biggest red flags I have is like a man who can't be honest about how he truly feels about somebody, or isn't straightforward. Like I'm more into somebody who's gonna be just like straight up with me than to beat around the bush or just smooth talk, because I don't really trust that the whole way. So I would say honesty is huge, and like also I feel like honesty also shows humility. I think that's a big thing because, of course, having a Christian background, there is, that importance of having humility on both sides. Like you see it in, I want to say Ephesians 5, where it talks about, the relationship between a man and a woman who are like married, and it talks about being humble in the Lord, like both of you. And just ego is one thing that I can't stand. It's like, that arrogance or pride is just a huge red flag for me. So guys who are like more humble, just in their walk, the things that they do, the way that they speak, or the way that they respect you as a person, that's something that I really value.
Yeah, that's real. I think for me, one thing that I look for is like someone who's teachable. And like, I feel like it's particularly difficult for men because a lot of men don't want to be like corrected. Like if you do, because it's okay to be, we're human. You're going to do something wrong. That's okay. But I feel like a man who's willing to listen and be like, oh, I see what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Let me pivot. Next time I'll try to do better. So someone who's willing to take criticism and who's willing to be teachable for me is like key. And I guess the red flag is someone who's not willing to take correction. Like yeah, you just think that your way or your way is the highway. Is that what they say? Like, if it's not your way, you won't go with it. So you think that you're always right. I feel like for me, that's a big red
Yeah.
Honestly, think we could do a whole video on red flags.
Yeah.
So my one quality, I think you have to be emotionally intelligent. Because I'm a very emotional person, and not only do I need you to be able to read my emotions, I need you to understand them and be able to empathize with me. And that's why, like, I want the qualities that Isabella has in a man. She's able, like,
Yes!
okay, like the one thing I really admire about her is that she reads me so well. She knows when something is not right. And she would immediately ask me about it. And sometimes I just push back because I don't want to talk about it. But the fact that you acknowledge that I'm not doing well and you're trying to like fix it, like that just shows me you care. Yeah, and I feel like empathy is a huge thing as well because in a relationship you're going to get into arguments. I need you to be able to understand my side of things and not only be focused on what you think, what you feel, that kind of thing. And for red flags, let's come to back to that. Go ahead, Isabella.
So one thing I look for in a man, that was a good one quality, kindness. Like kindness for me is at the top. Just being able to be selfless and being generous, not being, oh yeah, this is just for me, I'm going to share with you. I think that just speaks a lot about their character. And for me, I just feel like I need somebody that's able to be willing to share and just not just me, but other people as well.
Yeah.
Red flags.
That be its own separate discussion.
Red flags. Okay.
I feel like just listing one is not enough.
If you guys want a whole video on us talking about red flags and a guy, comment.
Yeah.
We'll provide for you. So yeah.
I guess I'll ask this one. How does it feel to be in your 20s and not having been in a relationship?
What? I've been in a relationship. You guys don't know him?
You don't even lie on this.
And we're talking about like a relationship, like he asked you to be your girlfriend.
Yeah. Honestly, like, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't feel like I've missed out on anything, or I don't feel like I'm behind on anything. Like I feel like sometimes you can, be like, oh, am I, doing it, like, why is everyone in a relationship? I've never been, but I honestly don't feel that way. I feel like it's part of my personality because I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of not rebellious, but like if the world says, "Oh, you should be in a relationship at this age," I'm like, no. Like that doesn't have to be the thing just because the world says this is the thing. So I feel like because I haven't been in a relationship, I don't feel like I'm behind because I don't know. Like I think my time. I don't know. I don't feel like like time has passed me by and like I've yet to. I feel like no, my time is coming. Maybe it's delusion. I don't know. I feel like God is holding out like the person that's actually for me is coming. I don't feel bad about it. That's what I'll say. I feel like it's normal. I don't feel like.
I feel like I have this belief that our future husband is just somewhere in the closet or in this room praying for all these nonsensical guys to not look at our way.
Yes.
Like that can really just help you change your perspective on things because as Christians we date intentionally. Like we're not just dating for fun's sake. Sure it's great to have experience and stuff, but I also feel like you can learn from other people.
Yeah.
But to me it's just like dating young. It's risky because you can really care about someone, really like about someone, but both of you are so immature that it doesn't work out. So I feel like the older we get, the wiser we become, and it will further prepare us for a long-lasting relationship that will eventually lead to marriage. So I feel good about where I'm at. Sure, I get lonely at times, but if that's the sacrifice I have to make for the right guy to come into my life, and so be it.
I think kind of to what you guys were saying, I think part of it is also where and how I grew up. Like it just never really was a thing that I ever really thought about because I just never really saw myself with like any of the guys that I was around growing up. Just because of like, a variety of factors and just like preferences. And I was just more focused on like, okay, I just want to like do well in school so I can get to a good college and whatever. And I feel like now is more when I'm like open to being in a relationship, but it's more like kind of what you said, being intentional because I think, you can have those feelings of like, oh, well, other people ended up in relationships like really quick and like, wow. And if somebody ends up in a long relationship kind of quickly, like
that's great. I'm genuinely happy for them. But if that's also not what happens for me, like I'm not gonna be mad because I want to be intentional, like you said, about avoiding hurt and stuff. Because you hear so many stories of people getting into relationships and they're like, oh, it just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't the right time, and like things went south very quickly. And it's like, let me save myself that stress because there's so much other things in life beyond that that it's like, okay, let me, make the most of every opportunity I have right now in my 20s. And if this happens to be part of it, if dating happens to be part of it, like great, but it's not something that I'm like, dang, I missed out necessarily because honestly, like you said, right now is when I'm just really opening myself up to that anyway. Because like we just hit 20, so like we just hit 20.
I'm getting to a point of just being content in my singleness because I know at the right time, God will bring me who my husband is. And so right now, I'm just chilling, just chilling and, just making sure I focus on, my relationship with God. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing in this world. Then we can add the other one to it. But generally, just.
And I feel like even that thing of because you hear so many times, especially like in preaching or just like people in general, whether they're religious or not, just saying like being content in your singleness, and it's like it's such a vague term. I feel like, especially being in college, one of the things I've seen for sure is like there are so many opportunities available to you, and sometimes you can restrict yourself when you're just like, man, I need to be with somebody, and it's like if they are on like completely different track in life than you, then it's like are you also walking out the purpose that God has given you? Because whoever is meant to be in your life, I feel like will fit. Not like you take them and fit them into your life however you want it to go, but it's like you'll be able to flow together and you'll each be growing each other. So I feel like that's another thing where it's like if I feel like somebody's about to hold me back or hinder me and like where God has called me to, then I'm like, you don't need to be doing all that. And in the same way for me, it's like if I'm somebody who's not going to push you towards where God has called you to, then like I'm not the right one for you either. So I feel like that's another thing is just like valuing everything available to you because once you're like married, once you have like a relationship, once you're even dating, like it's just there's other things that you don't have the freedom to do anymore because it's not just about you, it's like about somebody else.
So so good. I agree so much because I just feel like you really need to find yourself first and be comfortable with being alone and being by yourself because I feel like singleness gives us the opportunity to like go for opportunities to like what's it called, try new things, like be ambitious, do things that we wouldn't normally do in relationships. So we should like look at this time that we have alone as an advantage instead of something that we should like feel bad about. Because once we become whole with Christ and with ourselves, like then we'll be ready to add that supplement. We don't want it to be like, oh, I need a partner to like to like add or like it's a missing piece that I need
like
so
validate.
bad. Yeah, exactly. It's more of like he's there to complement who you are, and because I feel like once you get into a relationship, if you don't know yourself, like it's very easy for him to be your whole world, and that's such a risky thing. So
thank you guys for getting this far into the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to
comment,
like, subscribe,
and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.